Hello everyone and welcome to QMetry video tutorial series where we'll talk about the most amazing feature of the QMetry test management for Jira. My name is Prijesh Patel, working as a product specialist at QMetry, and today I'll talk about the most important element of the software testing lifecycle, which is test execution. So let's get started. As we are all aware that the QMetry test management for Jira extends Jira's capability for the test management purpose and provide the entire end-to-end test management capability within Jira ecosystem where as a development team as well as the QA team, work together within the Jira ecosystem. So to access the QMetry, you can go to your apps, click on QMetry and click on the test management menu where you can access all your test cases, test cycle, as well as the test plan and report within your Jira ecosystem. So as you can see here, this is one of my project called the policy market, and I can able to see all the test cases, test cycle plan, and the test report. So first of all, you need to select your project where you would like to work upon, and then you can go to the test cycle. So here I'm assuming that before you can create your cycle, you are done with all your set of test cases in terms of the authoring, where you have created all set of your test cases and now you would like to execute them. At the same time, if you are following the best practices wherein you have created those cases where you would like to link those test cases to your respective story, requirement, or task, you have already set up those traceability. And now you would like to execute them. So here, first of all, you need to select your project where you would like to work upon, and underneath you can see this entire folder tree structure. So QMetry provide the folder tree structure wherein by just right clicking here, you can come up with your own folder tree structure wherein you can organize your set of test cycle within the QMetry for Jira. So this folder structure based on the different testing methodology, different testing module, or the feature functionality which you are thinking upon. So that is depends on you how you are creating those folder structure and organize your set of test cycle into that. So first of all, in order to create a new cycle, it's pretty simple. You just need to click on this plus test cycle button where you can define your summary, description, other scoping detail, and you are good to go ahead. So let me go back and open one of my existing test cycle to give you the overall example. So this is one of my cycle where, first of all, you are getting a brief idea about your cycle in terms of the summary, the description, the scoping detail, which you have filled like folder path, priority, status, assignee, label, component, reporter, sprint, which you would like to tag. You can, mention your planned date as well as the end date, which you are thinking about that within this particular duration, you need to complete this particular cycle in terms of the executions, and whatsoever the custom field you have designed for your cycle, that would be popped up here where you can scope them. And now you can go to this test case button wherein first of all, you can add the test cases which you would like to execute underneath this particular cycle. So you can go to this particular add test case button wherein you can go to a different folder or a different project which you would like to execute them. So this extensive search functionality will help you to navigate your specific test case very easily. Select them and scoping here. And at the same time, you can see that, this many of the test cases I have already scoped in underneath this particular cycle. So here you can get to see the list of all the test cases which you have scoped in under this particular cycle. At the same time, what you can see, you can leverage this entire UI based on your, preference. So we provide this dynamic sorting filtering options wherein you as a user will decide what kind of the column would like to see on the screen and what would be the priority of those columns. So for you, it's, certain parameters are very important where you can quickly check all the detail about your test case under that cycle. You just come here and enable those columns which you would like to see. I have already done in terms of the my preferences point of view. At the same time, you can also, navigate and filter out a specific test case which you would like to execute or, which you are interested. So we provide this extensive filtering options wherein, my scope is very limited as of now, but assuming that you have a larger amount of execution scope and you need to navigate to a specific test case based on a certain parameter, you just need to come here and access the different filtering criteria provided by the QMetry for Jira. Now, this is the, module which will help you to add the individual test cases which you would like to execute them. So certain times what happens that we are following a practices wherein you have set of those test cases where you are already linking to your relevant requirement, your task, or the, I would say, the story itself. And you do not need to do, the same exercise again, which you have already done, where you have searched for those test cases and link it with your respective task, story, or the requirement. What you need to do, you just need to go here on your story tab and select the story from here, which could be, within the project or across the project, where whatsoever the test cases has been linked to your story would be automatically popped up here. So you can see that I have already added, a couple of story right here. So whatsoever the test cases has been associated with this three story would be automatically available here. So the scoping of your test cases underneath your cycle, it's very easy, right? And once you are done with that, on this screen here itself, you can perform a bulk operation. So now assume that, you have executed this, all the test cases, you are getting the success, and bulkly you would like to change the execution status, or maybe you have executed a couple of test cases together and you would like to, make sure that you can change the status of your test cases in a bulk fashion. You can do that easily via coming here. You just need to select the appropriate test cases and select the execution result. So we do provide a couple of bulk update options wherein you can change the execution result. At the same time, you can distribute your work among your teammates. So if you have the larger amount of scope, at the same time, couple of guys or the people are working on the same test execution cycle, in terms of the execution purpose, you can come here and you can also distribute your load and assign a couple of test cases to your other colleague in terms of the execution purpose. At the same time, you can also quickly change the entire environment for all your test cases as well as the build. Now, this is the overall idea which you are getting from here under the cycle itself. What if you would like to execute this particular test case one by one? So it's pretty simple. You just need to click on this plus execute button, which will be navigated to you the entire execution screen, wherein you can, first of all, getting a brief idea about your cycle here, the issue key of your cycle, the name of and the summary of your cycle, and the overall plan date, start date, the overall estimated, and the actual time. And on the left side, you can see the list of all the test cases present into your cycle. So we do provide this quick update icon wherein you can quickly change the status of your test cases by clicking right here. So what if this particular test case is the work in progress, or maybe it's passing or failing? You just need to click here and quickly change the status of your test case. So this quick update icon will really help you and boost your productivity to change the status of your test cases quickly. At the same time, on the right side, you can get an idea about all the entire, detail about your test case. So if I talk about one of the, great feature of the QMetry Jira, which is the data parameter. So that's a simple example wherein what you are getting the idea about your execution, that on which platform you would like to execute this particular test case, what was the build. You can also mention the actual time, executed time, description, other scoping detail, the comment which you have mentioned at the time of authoring. So if this particular test case failing and you would like to raise a defect, it's a pretty simple. You just come here, go to this create bug options, wherein you can select your project, select the issue type which you would like to create as a defect, right? And just mention the summary and click on create. So that defect has been automatically successfully created, and that would be linked with this particular test case. At the same time, you can see all the attachment which you have attached at the time of authoring, and under test step detail, you can see the list of all the test cases so far present into this particular cycle. So QMetry do provide the very good functionality called the data parameterizations, which will help you to test your functionality based on the actual data set. So whatsoever the grid you have defined under test cycle, you can see that those groups would be automatically created. And once you expand, you can see that your variable would be replaced with the actual value which you have set it upon. And now you can make sure that you can, pass, fail, or block for your each data set. So you can execute your test case for your each data set and record the execution. So here you can do a touch anything. Here you can raise a defect on your specific test step level. You can mention your actual result. You can do comment over that, or maybe you can change the status of your test step quickly from here. Now, this is all about from the execution prophecy. So now consider a couple of scenario wherein your test case has been failed previously. You have raised a defect, and now that defect has been fixed, and you would like to re-execute the same test case. So you do not need to create a new cycle, and then you can create, you can scope that particular test case underneath. You can definitely do that if you would like to do that. But what will be the functionality which I would like to explain here would be, you can execute the same test case multiple times within the same cycle. So as you can see here that this particular test case has been failing, and now the defect has been fixed, and I would like to re-execute the same test case. I can click on this task new execution, where you can see that it just come here, where I can select my particular environment called the Chrome. I can mention my build number or anything which I would like to mention, and then I can execute them and make sure it's passing. So within the same cycle, I can execute the same test case multiple times. So that's a very unique feature provided by the QMetry4J, and that could be the couple of scenario which you can consider. So if you have executed one test case on your one platform, and now you would like to execute on your other platform, you can do that. You are changing build from 1.0 to 2.0, or maybe anything. You just need to come here and start a new execution. At the same time, within the cycle itself, you can get to see the entire intelligence in terms of how your execution train going on, how many test cases are passing, failing, blocking. And this intelligence will really help you to see the overall trend. So out of overall 18 test cases, this is the trend going on right now inside my cycle. At the same time, you can see the entire bug or the defect analysis, wherein so far how many defect has been raised, what is the status of those defects, as well as the priority of those defects. You can see the, within the cycle itself. At the same time, you can also leverage this filtering option, wherein if your scope of execution very large and you need to come up with a specific test case, need to search those test cases and update the result, you can do that. Or else what you can do, if multiple folks are working on the same cycle and they would like to know that how many test cases they need to execute within the cycle, then they can leverage the different group by options, wherein one of the good options would be execution assignee, where all the test cases has been rearranged based on the execution assignee. And then you can see the overall execution log within the cycle itself, wherein you can see the overall update, who did what kind of the thing on which date and time. So this is sometimes necessary as a compliance point of view, or if something goes wrong and you need to figure out who did what kind of the thing on which date and time, you just need to come here and you can see the all the detail. So this is all about the entire test cycle perspective. So now consider a second use case that you have executed this all the test cases on your X platform. So in my case, I'm working on my platform called Chrome. I have executed all those test cases on my Chrome platform, and now I would like to execute the same amount of test cases on my another platform called Firefox. Then you do not need to do this all the exercise again. What you need to do, you just need to come here and clone this cycle, wherein you can give a new name, select the appropriate option. So if, ideally you can select this option because we are expecting a similar behavior. What's so the things which we have got on the Chrome platform, we are expecting the same thing on a Firefox one. So you just need to update the exceptions entry which you are getting on your Firefox one. So that will also, really help you to boost your productivity. And you just need to give a new name, or maybe you can also filter out a couple of test cases based on the different criteria. So what if you would like to come up with only failing and the block test cases, and you would like to re-execute them? You just select the appropriate execution status, and only those test cases would be inherent in a new cycle. So here all those different field would be there, which will also help you to design or clone your test cycle based on the different filtering criteria, and you just need to hit the clone button. So by this way, you can clone the cycle, and which will really help you to boost your productivity. So this is all about the entire test executions which we have seen with the QMetry test management for GIA. Thank you so much, guys, for watching us. If you would like to try and download QMetry Test Management for Jira, just scan this QR code and you will be navigated to the marketplace website where you can download the QMetry Test Management for Jira. Or if you can visit marketplace.atlassian.com and search for the QMetry Test Management for Jira, you will download the QMetry for Jira and take advantage of the free trial. Also, you can reach out to us for a one-on-one demo, or if you have any question, query related to the QMetry test management for Jira, just send me an email at QTM4J@QMetry.com. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.